Oh wow, that sashimi looks so delicious. I can't wait to dip it in some soy sauce with some wasabi. Mmm. How did the instructor of this cooking demonstration just prepare that? What sort of tools did he need in order to get that done? What sort of lesson plan did he have to prepare in order to make such a smooth delivery of demonstration? These are the various points that you will learn in my Instructional Strategies digital project, cooking demonstrations that make your mouth water. You might ask yourself, what are the best practices for a cooking demonstration? And I'd like to begin off by looking specifically at location, the right menu, and mise en place. Even if a cooking instructor has a million skills and they're the most renowned chef in the world, if the space isn't available for an effective demonstration, those skills can't be applied. So that location becomes essential for a proper demonstration to take place. A proper demonstration cannot be executed without a well-equipped kitchen. This meaning the proper equipment must be available for the demonstration. Now, the size of the kitchen, a comfortable space for the students to sit and learn, and a kitchen equipped with learning stations must be available. The kitchen must include the equipment necessary to execute the demonstration. The equipment must be in good condition. If it's in bad condition and it wasn't checked if it worked or not, an instructor can be put in a very difficult situation in the middle of a demonstration if they find out and discover that that equipment does not work. Hey, Mama, what's cooking today? What's for dinner? In order to find the right menu, the most important thing is to identify who is the learner. Are they cooking students studying a professional culinary curriculum? Does the certification programs dictate the learning outcome and diagnose a specific mandate for the course, cooking theory, and skills that must be demonstrated? Is the learner your average Joe and Jane who love to cook and would like to take home a few recipes and tricks of the trade? The cooking theory and recipes demonstrated must meet the needs of the learner. The best menu, or list of recipes, will include a collection of recipes that ensure the learner's needs are met. You may hear
What is mise en
the term
place?
mise en place.
You might hear it time and time
over
again
and
on
over
cooking
again on
shows.
cooking shows.
Mise en place
Famous
essentially means
TV
to
chefs
have ready
mention it.
and set in place.
What is this mysterious
For
mise
an
en place?
effective cooking demonstration?
Essentially, it means
organization
everything is in place
and a well-planned
and for
lesson
everything
plan
to be
are
in place
essential
to a great
a
delivery.
plan
and organization,
Fresh, seasonal, and accessible
ingredients are
are the
purchased and ready
keys
for
to
use.
success.
For a cooking
The
demonstration,
exact amounts of ingredients are
First,
pre-washed,
fresh,
and weighed,
seasonal, and accessible
and
ingredients are
immediately
purchased
accessible
and ready
for the
for use.
instructor.
The exact
Small
amount
equipment
of
including
ingredients are
measuring cups,
pre-weighed,
spoons,
washed, and
mixing bowls,
immediately
and
accessible for the
are
instructor.
clean, in good condition, and
Small
ready for
equipment
use.
is clean and ready for use. Small equipment including measuring cups, spoons, mixing bowls, ladles, electrical equipment, stainless bowls, storing ware, and holding equipment are such examples of things that you can prepare ahead of time in order to ensure a smooth and well-received cooking demonstration. During my training in Japan, my school required us to learn how to pull a very thin sheet of Japanese radish from the radish just using a knife technique. It's a very hard technique. You may have seen it on TV now and again. I would wake up at 6 in the morning every morning and practice for about 2 months before our final exam. I can't stress enough that practice makes perfect. The recipe must be practiced and perfected at least 2 times before your demonstration in order to perfect delivery technique and work through any potential problems that may occur. A thorough, well-planned lesson plan must identify time allotments for your introduction, your delivery of the new material and recipes, a question period for the learner to throw out questions and for you to answer them, and of course, the most important, time to sample the food and enjoy the experience of tasting the textures and flavors of what you just watched. And of course, a proper closure to your demonstration must be ready in order to settle the perfect day of a perfect demonstration. Now, this project will switch its focus and ask, what is the role of the educator? The role of the educator includes 2 very important points. The educator models techniques and explains theory, and also acts as a class clown. In order for the instructor to model the techniques flawlessly, of course the instructors are required to have mastery over the skills and techniques they are teaching. Also, the instructor must be able to simultaneously model a technique, explain what and why they are doing it, and add additional fun and fact information relating to the ingredient or technique they are showing. No matter how many skills an instructor might have and how well they can explain a cooking technique, if they're not funny, if they don't use stories, humor, and strong communication in order to make the learning experience fun for the learner, then what's the point? So here, I want to stress the fact that the instructor also, in a sense, becomes a class clown. Whether the learning environment is a vocational institute or a private cooking school for pure enjoyment, the instructor must create a positive and fun learning environment. Now we've looked at what is the role of the instructor, and you might ask, what is the role of the learner? I want to look at 2 specific points. The role of the learner becomes an active learner and focused observer, one who is going to observe, model, and then practice the cooking technique. And the most important thing for the role of the learner is, of course, a love for cooking. The learner, when looking at the culinary student as an active wide variety of learning styles while actively the culinary student engages with a wide variety of learning styles while actively engaging with a cooking demonstration. Audio, kinesthetic, these interpretive, reflective learning styles include visual and audio, kinesthetic, interpretive, reflective, focus, writing, and reading. The cooking demonstration requires the learner to be very focused, that the learner very focused to the so they can absorb as many points to a technique details pertaining to a technique during the demonstration. Raw food costs add up, and so practically speaking, cooking demonstrations cannot be repeated more than once. Before engagement can take place, the motivation that brings the learner to the table to enjoy the learning experience must be present. So I included that the fact that a love for cooking and or eating is essential. It's an essential role of the learner. The passion the learner has for cooking and or the love of eating is usually the driving fuel which engages them with the learning process. Hands down. The biggest benefit of a cooking demonstration is being able to eat the food. There's food
But other
to
pros
taste
include
and
it
enjoy.
is a hands-on learning environment.
However, there are a series of pros and
It
cons
is a visual demonstration which
associated
enables
with the
easy modeling
technique
and
of a
observation
cooking
later on.
demonstration.
It
Here,
also
I've
includes a
included
combination of
just
a
a
wide
few.
variety of learning styles.
On the pro side,
including visual, audio,
yes,
kinesthetic,
it is a
just to
hands-on
name a
learning
few.
environment,
And this makes for a
and
well-balanced
it
learning
makes
process.
a perfect visual demonstration
When looking at the cons,
so that the learner
gap between experience of the instructor
easily
and
model
learner can
and
mislead
observe
the learner as to
for
the
later
actual
practice.
difficulty of performing the task.
The cooking demonstration
There is a limited
includes
time
a
for
combination
repetition
of a
and
wide variety of
continual
learning
practice
styles, including
of the
visual,
recipe.
audio,
And the
kinesthetic,
students don't really
and many
get a
more
chance
to
to
name a
develop
few.
a technique.
And this
at that
makes
time.
for a well-balanced learning
If a
process.
student is absent, they cannot
However,
repeat the demonstration.
If you are looking at the
and
cons,
also, students
you might
usually
say
only
that
practice part of the recipe.
the instructor makes
because
the
usually
demonstration
they conduct
look
a
too
recipe
easy.
in groups.
At times, the learner
Well,
might
this
go home and
is the
practice
conclusion of
technique
my digital
or
project
within the classroom
video.
and feel
Thank you
a
very
degree
much
of
for
frustration
participating.
because they can't instantly execute the recipe. The gap between the experience of the instructor and learner can mislead the learner as to the actual difficulty of performing the task. Also, the limited time for repetition and continual practice for the learner of a recipe limits their ability to really develop the skill at that time and occasion. Also, if a student is absent, the demonstration cannot be repeated. And because when a recipe is executed, usually a few students work together to do that. So students usually only practice part of a recipe, not the whole recipe in its entirety, this limiting the amount of technique that they can literally practice.